Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a kneeling position. Bring your hands to rest on your thighs. Let your eyes close. Start to bring your focus and awareness to your breath. Taking a few moments for yourself to come into your body. Allow your spine to be really nice and tall, lengthen through the back of your neck. And then blink open through your eyes. We're going to move into a side bend. Take your right arm up and over and lean yourself over to the left. Now adding on from that, shift your hips over to the right. So you get even a deeper side bend all along the right side. Bring yourself back to center. And we'll switch this up. So take your left arm up and over towards the right. Hold there for a few moments, just finding that length all along the left side. And then push your hips over to the left so you go even a little bit deeper. You find that space you can create all along the left side. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to go a little bit further here. So once again, take the right arm up and over. And now push your hips off to the right, but try to keep your hips lifted and really push them up and over to the right. Bring yourself back to center and then switch. So your left arm will come up and over. Push your hips over to the left, but then lift your hips up and try to roll your heart space open towards the ceiling. Final one here, a little bit different. Bring your left hand down, reach your right arm up, and then clamshell your right knee open. So your right knee is going to lift up off the ground a little bit. Find that openness in the front of your body and the side, right side body. And then slowly bring it down, lower your knee and switch. So the right hand comes down, the left arm comes up and over. And then that same idea, think of keeping your big toes together, but open your left knee away from your right knee. So it's a little bit of a clamshell sensation. You find a little bit of a pull into the front of your left hip flexor. Slowly bring yourself down, bring yourself back up to kneeling. And from here, transition to a tabletop position. Start to open and close your right knee out to the side like a fire hydrant, just starting to build a little bit of movement into the right hip. Try to keep your lower back as still as possible. We do this about 5 times. After your 5th time, extend the right leg so it comes straight back long behind you and flex your foot a lot. Now externally rotate, turn your right toes out to the side, and then internally rotate and cross your right knee behind your left. We're going to take that 5 times total. So extend your right leg, turn out, and then turn in, cross your knees. So just finding this motion, turning out and turning in, finding the cross of the legs, finding a little bit of a squeeze in the thighs. When you straighten your right leg, try to really energize through the bottom of your right heel all the way to the back of your space. After your 5th time, hold the cross of your legs. Flip your bottom toes and lift your bottom knee up off the ground. So we're getting a little bit of core work here. Feel the squeeze of your inner thighs into each other. Now rotate your knees over to the right. Shift all of your weight onto your left hand. Reach your right arm up. And then release your right foot down. So you're in a one-armed reverse tabletop. Press your hips up. And then with control, lower your hips down to the ground. And then take a few moments here. Knock your knees over to the right, really nice and slow. Take a few moments with your knees knocked over to the right. And then switch, bring your knees over to the left. And we'll do that one more time each side. Knock your knees over to the right, just finding a little bit of internal rotation, especially through the left hip here. And then switch, bring your knees so they come over to the right. And we're going to come back the same way that we came into this. So we're going to start off with the reverse tabletop. Punch down with your left hand, reach your hips up, and then spin yourself back around so your left knee is on top. Separate your shins, send your hips back. You're coming into a cross-legged child's pose. This is going to hit a little bit deeper into the outer glutes, which you might be experiencing. If you can't get your hips very low, that's okay. Just breathe into the space between your shoulders. Nice, full, big breaths in and out. And slowly begin to shift yourself out of this. We're going to move everything on the second side. So unravel your legs, meet back in a tabletop position, and we'll start off with these little fire hydrant moves, starting to the left side. Just lift and lower the left knee. Try to keep your shoulders square. Your left hip may move a little bit, but try to keep your shoulders as square as you can. This is a little bit of core work as well. After your 5th time, extend your left leg back long behind you, and then turn your left toes out to the side, so externally rotate your left leg. And then cross your left knee behind your right. I'm going to do that again. Externally rotate as you straighten through the left leg, and then cross your left knee behind your right. Find internal rotation. So just moving between these two postures, and we do this 5 times. Nice and stable through the lower back, finding activation through the core. And after your 5th time, hold the cross of your legs, flip your bottom toes under, and float your right knee up off the ground. Actively press down into your hands, feel that length through the back of your neck. Now start to spin your knees over to the left. Your left foot will drop down to the ground, and then you can reach your left arm up and overhead. Reverse tabletop with one arm, open through the fronts of your hips, and then slowly lower your hips down to the ground. Bring your hands behind your back, just a little bit of support. We take this again. Nice and gentle, let your knees fall over to the right. And then move the knees through center and let them fall over to the left. So again, just kind of exploring with internal rotation through each hip here. We do once more each side, going once to the right. And then switch, moving over to the left. Again, bring your knees back to center. We come out of this the same way we came into it. Plug your right hand down, reach your left arm up, reverse tabletop. Bring yourself around so you're in a cross-legged position. So your right knee's on top, and then send your hips back into a cross-legged child's pose. Take a little bit of time here. Feel that stretch, that opening in your outer glutes. Take a nice big breath in. And a full big breath out. And let's do that again. Take a nice big breath in. And a full big breath out. And slowly bring yourself out of this. Unravel your legs so you're back in a tabletop position. We're going to move to standing. You can flip your toes under, walk your feet up towards your fingers, bend your knees, and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Find a little bit of space for yourself here. Move into a wider squat position and shift your weight to your right leg, lift your left leg, and then switch. Lift your right leg. So we're starting to find a little bit of activation in the outer thigh, outer glute as well. And the core is working a lot as well here as you shift your weight from side to side, kind of like a little sailor move. And the leg, try to lift your leg with muscle, not momentum. So you don't want to think of kicking the leg up off the ground. You want to think of lifting it with control. Move your right toes to your left foot. Your left foot will be weight bearing. Place your hands on your left thigh and extend your right leg back long behind you. We're going to start to move into a rond de jambe here. Take your right leg, rond de jambe it out to the side, and then bring it back behind you. We take this 5 times total. I know this is a little bit of a doozy. Try to maintain the bend of your bottom knee. Now your hip is going to move slightly, especially as you bring your leg out to the side, and that's okay. Try to keep your leg as lifted as you can, but if it kind of lowers down a little bit, that's all right too. But you want to feel this huge movement, this huge rond de jambe movement of your right leg. And even if you fall, I fell a little bit there. Even if you fall, that's okay. Come back right back into it. We take this 5 times total. Maintain that bend of your bottom knee. After your 5th time, pull your right knee up. Find a moment of balance here. And then bring your right foot down. We're going to take all of that on the second side, starting with those little side-to-side steps again. So move into a nice wide second position, parallel second, and just start to shift yourself from side to side. Doesn't have to be a huge movement here, but you're starting to feel activation into your outer thigh, your outer glute, and try to stay as low as you can in this squat. We take about 5 of these on each side. And then this time, you're gonna set yourself up on your right leg. So after you take your 5 little side-to-side movements, step your right foot in, pop your left heel, bring your hands onto your right thigh, and then extend your left leg back long behind you. Take a moment to set yourself up in this position, and then when you feel ready, start to move your left ankle out to the side, and then move it back behind you. And take this as slowly as you need to. Actually, the slower is going to be a little more effective. It takes a lot more control to move slowly. You'll feel the core turn on here as well. Those obliques are working, especially as you rotate your left leg out to the side. Maintain the bend of your bottom knee. And then after your 5th time, pull your left knee into your chest, stand up tall, just for a few moments, one last opportunity to balance. Bring your left foot down and come all the way down to the ground. We're going to set up into a 90-90 position on the ground. So you've got your left shin in front, and then bring your right shin back behind, flex both of your feet, and really try to make a 90-degree angle with your hips and your knees. This is gonna be a little bit tricky. Shift your weight over towards your left butt cheek, extend your right leg out and around, cross it over your leg, and then bring this back and around. So kind of similar to what we were doing in that standing position. We're really utilizing the outer thigh. I want you to think of a huge circumference with your right foot, your right leg going way out and around before it crosses over. And I can't get my foot to cross over all the way, but you want to try to go just as far as you can. Your torso is going to kind of shift depending on where your leg is, and that's okay. If you need to bring your hands down, you can do that as well. It's still challenging. After your final time, hold the cross of the leg. So your right leg will cross over your left. Try to stack your knees one on top of the other, and then start to walk your hands out in front of you. Just a little bit of release into that outer right glute, especially that we were just working. Let your body hang nice and heavy. Breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. Take a nice big breath in. Full big breath out. And let's take a side bend. So keep your right hand down and reach your left arm up and over. Huge side body bend. Feel that pull, that length you're creating all along the left side. Come back to center and switch. Bring the left hand down. Reach the right arm up and over. That same idea, that same pull of your rib away from the hip. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to move all this to the other side. So unravel your legs and set yourself up so your left shin is in front. And again, you're coming into this 90-90 position. You can bring your hands to heart center, or you can use your hands on the mat. Shift your weight forward a little bit to the right and start to take your left leg back and around to this crossing position, and then swoop it way back around behind you. We take this 5 times total. Think of that huge circumference that you can create with your left leg. Huge circles. Keep the left leg floating for as long as you can. And again, if you need to use your hands on the ground, feel free to do that for yourself. Actively push the left heel away from you in each of these directions. Find stability here. And after your 5th time, keep the cross of the knee. And then when you're ready, start to crawl yourself forward. So you've got one knee stacked on top of the other, left knee over right knee. Release your body, release your torso, and just breathe here. Every exhale, allow yourself to go a little deeper, a little heavier. And slowly start to roll yourself up for a side body bend. Bring your right hand down, reach your left arm up and over. Feel that separation that you can create all along the left side from your rib to your hip. Come back to center and switch. So the left arm can come down, the right arm can come up and over. Again, you find that nice long side body stretch. Bring yourself back to center. Unravel your legs and come all the way down to lie on your back. Knock your knees together. Bring your feet wide apart. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to end in this little internal rotation, just very gentle, letting your knees weigh against each other. Maybe let your eyes close. Give yourself a few final moments here. Come into your breath. Come back into your body the same way we did at the beginning of the sequence. Every exhale, allow yourself to sink a little bit heavier. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.